the exploratory call process at SSW. This is Adam, and I'm here with Louis and Steph. And this is the process we follow to call people. Now, what we don't want to be doing is pure cold calls. We want to be calling people that are likely. And we use Apollo for that process. And this talks about what to do before and after. So you're going to use Apollo, and then you're going to make the call. And then there's a script that you can follow. And then you got to log it after. And the big success, phase 5, is when you book someone. And that's when we get a second person involved for these initial meetings. And then there's a follow-up cycle, which should be automated. And then monthly we review the goals, and we will be reviewing reports, which we've got to work on. All right, so let's fly through here. This is the most important part, and that is who are we going to call? And we want people that are good, and they've got to be in the Microsoft stack, have a budget, so you got to work out in the call if they have any ability to spend money. If not, you're speaking to the wrong person, and you can ask them who to speak to. You want to ask if they're doing Scrum, what type of projects are they thinking of doing, or what projects are going on at the moment, and who is the decision maker. That's an important thing to find out. There's a few things like that probably would indicate that they're definitely not going to be after SSW consulting if they're not using any Microsoft tech. We're not going to be that interesting unless they're interested in Tina or Yakshover. I guess if they're not talking upwards of a budget of 10K, or they're not interested in giving you any time in an initial another meeting, then they're not going to be the right one. I think the selling thing is, let's just see if you want to have a coffee, coffee, not literal coffee, but it could be, whether they would join another call to see if we're a good match. So then we use Apollo. Apollo is the tool that we use that has a lot of people in it, such as I'm in it, and it knows plenty about you, so that you'd want to, if you're after a CEO that runs a Microsoft consulting company, I'm a person to speak to. So you use this people search, use a whole bunch of attributes, and you'll see the job titles are pretty important. And what's the AI-powered scoring, Louis?
So that's basically a built-in Apollo tool that basically whenever you click on a specific lead or something, it gives you like a what the summary of Copilot usually does, right? So for a long document, it gives you like an executive summary. So in this case, for a lead, it will give you like an executive summary about that lead and everything. Okay. Like, for example.
So if it found me, what would be the executive summary?
I don't know. It depends on what type of information it has. Like, for example, if you open a new office in, let's say, in South America, so then that will show up as an important insight, and that give you like a talking point and that kind of stuff.
Okay. And using Apollo is fun, is it?
Yeah, it's fun.
You see,
using AI is fun.
Right. Cool. And then we have the pre-call prep. So we're checking CRM to see if that person is already there.
Yes.
And then you see what Apollo knows about the person, so you're not ringing them up cold. So instead of saying, hey Adam, I can see, how many offices do you have? You would say, hey Adam, I can see you have 6 offices and one's in France and China. How's the China one going? Then you sound like you know a little bit about that person. And then I'm going to go, wow, how do you know that? What else do you know about me?
Yeah, exactly. Or you can do like something, for example, SSW already has a Chinese office, and if you're launching a product in China, you can call up SSW and say, hey, I know you guys have an office in China. We just launched this new product for the Chinese market that you might be interested in.
Right. Okay.
That's how you start a conversation.
Cool. So then we have our meeting definitions for an exploratory call, which is what you're making from Apollo, and then after that you say, I can get a dev involved in this, and you'll get, I get quite a bit of free information from that, and that's the initial meeting with 2 people in it. And then we've got a table here of what is an exploratory call and what's the next step in an initial meeting. And you've got your script here, which is the decision tree. You don't have to follow this exactly, but it'll give you a couple of ideas. And then afterwards, you've got to log before you make another call. So you log, and then from that point on, there'll be some automated processes that go on from there. And there's the success. A meeting booked. Now, are you referring to an initial meeting here? Or yes, so there's an initial meeting, and from that point on, we then offer them a spec review. So the follow-up cycle, by the way, we should put initial meeting here, just to be clearer. The follow-up cycle, what goes on from there? And there's a series of automated follow-ups using Apollo's sequences feature, and hopefully that will get them, because they've got to hear about SSW a few times. And then monthly, we review the goals. We have a meeting, we record that meeting, and then there's some reports, and these are all going to come from Power BI, and they haven't been finished. Power BI has a space in it. And then there's the quick reference. So there's the executive checklist there. So that should be helpful. You've got a nice little acronym here to remember. Of this acronym, you've got to use your filters, which we spoke about. You've got your auto scores. The sequences are the follow-ups, which is essentially what the next one is. That's also the follow-ups, and that all should be automated. All right. So there's the reminders, and when in doubt, and we've got using the Apollo features here with a little bit of extra information, because Apollo is a pretty significant tool to use. All right.